She didn't care when you gave her everything. She didn't flinch when you begged. She smirked when you cried. But when you finally disappeared, when you stopped calling, stopped checking, stopped hoping, suddenly you became everything she pretended not to need, and that's when it hit her. Every man watching this knows the pain, the confusion, that silent war inside your chest when you give loyalty and receive disrespect, when you're the steady presence in a world that constantly tests you. You're not weak for feeling it, but you'd be weak to stay there. Comment, I choose myself. If you've ever loved her deeply, truly, completely, only to watch her choose someone who wouldn't give her half of what you did, this is for you. This is not a video for boys who want to play games. This is for men who gave their hearts only to have them stepped on. This is for the men who stayed loyal, stayed kind, stayed honest, and still got burned. The truth is, in today's world, being a good man isn't enough. In fact, in the modern relationship landscape, it's often used against you. The more you give, the more she takes. The more patient you are, the more she tests, until you're drained, broken, wondering why your worth had an expiration date. But what if I told you she doesn't regret hurting you until you become the kind of man who no longer cares? And that's exactly what the Stoic relationship blueprint for men is here to create inside of you. It's the straight-edge guide for men ready to lead, evolve, and dominate in their purpose. It shows you how to get your power back, how to handle women with confidence and calm, how to set iron standards without raising your voice, and how to rebuild yourself into someone untouchable without losing who you are. This ebook is filled with timeless principles you'll come back to for the rest of your life. It's packed with real-life solutions you can use starting today. And for the first time, it's now available to the public, but not for long. This level of insight wasn't meant to be everywhere, and to preserve its value, we're only offering it for a short time. Support the channel. Help this message reach the men who need it most, and most importantly, rebuild yourself. Because when you do, everything changes. Now let's break this down. Number 1, she thrives when you chase. She doesn't lose sleep when you double text her. She doesn't sit by her phone wondering if you're okay when you explain yourself over and over. She doesn't feel urgency when you prove your loyalty without being asked. And no, she doesn't value your effort more just because you give more. In fact, with every call you make, with every good morning she didn't ask for, with every favor you give without her earning it, you sink deeper into the space of someone she sees as disposable. This truth isn't comfortable, but you need to hear it. She thrives when you chase, because the chase itself tells her everything she needs to know about your value, and more dangerously, about your perception of yourself. She starts to see you as a man who needs her more than you need your own dignity, a man who will bend so she doesn't have to. And if a woman knows you're not willing to lose her, she'll test how far she can push you before you break. She'll start small, cancel plans, delay replies, avoid clarity, but when you accept crumbs long enough, she'll eventually offer you dust. You'll sit across from her, hoping she remembers who you were at the beginning. But she won't, because the version of you she fell for, if she ever truly did, was replaced the moment she realized you'd keep chasing even when she stopped running. You gave her your presence like a blank check, and she cashed it without gratitude. But the deeper wound is not in her actions. It's in your refusal to stop offering yourself up, like you're not already enough. A woman can only treat you as cheaply as you price yourself. And when you chase without being chosen, without being claimed, without being deeply respected, you're not seen as romantic, you're seen as replaceable. She's not cruel because she ignores your effort. She's calculated. She knows you're addicted to the chase, and she knows the power isn't in her love, it's in your hope. The more you hope, the more she withholds. the more she withholds, the more effort you pour in, thinking one more kind gesture, one more vulnerable text, one more compliment will finally open her eyes. But they won't, because she already sees you. She sees you as easy, predictable, constant. And in her eyes, constant doesn't equal committed, it equals conquered. She thrives because the chase gives her control. It gives her the upper hand without any responsibility, and it gives her a narrative. I don't want a man who's too available. She wants the experience of earning a man's attention, not absorbing his desperation. You need to become the man who doesn't chase, because he knows he's the prize. You need to wake up to the truth that your value is not in how much you give, but in how much you protect. When she sees that you're not chasing, when she feels your absence and not your apology, when she has to wonder if you even care anymore, that's when you shift the story. That's when her confidence cracks. Because nothing disarms a woman who is used to control more than a man who chooses himself over access to her. Your strength isn't in your effort. It's in your restraint. It's in saying no to her inconsistency, to her mixed signals, to her endless tests. And it's in saying yes to your purpose, to your discipline, to your respect. The moment you stop chasing is the moment she starts checking. But don't do it for her reaction. Do it because you finally see what she never did: your worth. Number 2. Indifference is the death blow. She expected you to fight for her, even after the disrespect, even after the manipulation, even after she made you feel like a backup plan. She expected you to plead, to text paragraphs, to show up at her door, to beg for closure, but you didn't. And that's when she started to panic, not because she missed you, but because she realized her power didn't work anymore. See, you were the man who always cared, the man who forgave without being asked, who stayed loyal even when you were questioned, who kept showing up even when you were told you weren't enough. And in doing so, she learned something dangerous: that you'd never walk away, that she could keep you on a leash of memory and guilt while exploring the excitement of other men. But then something changed. You stopped reacting. You stopped proving. You stopped chasing after every breadcrumb of affection. You didn't post cryptic quotes. You didn't try to get her attention through passive-aggressive games. You just went quiet. Not the kind of quiet that hopes for her to return, but the kind that means you've already closed the door in your mind. That's what she never expected. Because for all her tests and mind games, she thought she could still find you emotionally waiting on the other end. But you were done. And nothing crushes her illusion more than that. Indifference, when real, is a shift in your soul. It's when her validation no longer matters, when her absence no longer hurts, when her new relationships no longer make you flinch. Because you've outgrown the version of yourself that believed you needed her to feel complete. That's when you become something she never considered, a man who does not need her presence or her apology. And that's when regret creeps in, not because she's had some profound awakening, but because she lost the script. You were supposed to be the safe one, the one who never leaves, the one she could keep on standby. But now, your lack of effort has become a mirror, and it reflects all the ways she mishandled you. She starts watching you again. She starts checking in with mutual friends. She starts stalking your stories. And you notice, but you don't care, because her attention no longer feeds you. Her interest no longer flatters you. That's the real win. Not when she comes crawling back, but when you no longer care if she ever does. When your peace matters more than her presence, you've already won. Indifference isn't about withholding love. It's about mastering it. It's about giving it where it's earned, not where it's wasted. And when a man reaches that level, he becomes untouchable. He becomes remembered, not for his pain, but for the way he chose himself in a world that expected him to settle for less. She won't forget you. not because you were loud, but because you finally walked away, without looking back. Number 3. When you detach, she panics. She didn't think you'd leave. She didn't believe you had it in you, not because you're weak, but because she believed she broke you enough to keep you where she wanted, stuck in hope, stuck in confusion, stuck in longing. And the moment you stopped reacting, not from spite, not from rage, but from sheer clarity, she felt it deep in her gut, because you weren't just unavailable, you were untouchable. Detachment is powerful not because it withholds affection, but because it withdraws your presence from where it was once abused. It reclaims everything you gave away for free, thinking it would build a future, thinking it would be reciprocated, thinking it would finally prove to her that you were the one. But you were always the one. She just never intended to match you. She only intended to benefit from you. And when you saw it for what it was and chose to step away, not with noise, not with explanations, but with clean and focused discipline, you became a man she could no longer figure out, a man she could no longer count on to fuel her ego, to validate her confusion, to be the backup plan while she kept her options open. And that's when panic sets in, not because she's lost love, but because she's lost leverage. She depended on your forgiveness, your patterns, your loyalty, and when that supply dries up, she's not lost in love. She's lost in control, because the man she used to emotionally manipulate has now become a man she can't read, and it terrifies her. You stopped checking, stopped showing up, stopped making yourself available, and she starts to wonder if maybe, just maybe, you've found someone else. But the truth is even more dangerous to her. You didn't replace her with another woman. You replaced her with your peace. You replaced her with your progress. You replaced her with the quiet strength of a man who realized that his value was never dependent on who wanted him, but on what he chose to value, and that includes himself. You used to wait for her to care. Now you don't even notice when she tries to come back. And that shift, that internal, irreversible change in how you see her and how you see yourself, is what breaks her fantasy, because in her mind, you were supposed to stay accessible. You were supposed to suffer forever. You were supposed to be the emotional safety net she could use when her other choices failed. But you didn't stay broken. You didn't play your part. You healed. You elevated. You became someone who sees through the act, who isn't seduced by old patterns, who doesn't respond to nostalgia with naivety. And she starts to panic, not because she wants to rebuild, but because she knows she lost something she thought she could keep without effort. Detachment exposes everything, her true intentions, your unspoken strength, the depth of your growth. She wasn't ready for a version of you that didn't need closure, that didn't need revenge, that didn't need to be seen again. Because your absence is no longer about strategy, it's about identity. You became the man who would rather rebuild alone than break yourself to be near someone who never valued you to begin with. And that's what she never prepared for, a man who stopped asking questions and started living answers. Number 4, pain isn't punishment, it's awakening. It hurts like hell when the person you gave your soul to looks at you like you're disposable, when the one you would have fought a war for chooses to flirt with someone else while you're still wiping tears from your eyes, when your loyalty becomes the joke and your consistency becomes the reason she's bored. But that pain, that unbearable sting of betrayal, isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your resurrection. Pain was never meant to break you. It was meant to shake you awake. It was meant to snap you out of the trance of potential, to rip the illusion of who she pretended to be from the mask she wore, and what's left, raw and unfiltered, is the truth. She never saw you as deeply as you saw her. She saw what you could do for her, how you made her feel, how you chased and tried and proved. But she never saw your heart as something to protect, only as something to use. And that pain you feel in your chest, that crushing disappointment, that hollow space where love once lived, that's where the new you is born. Not a colder you, not a bitter you, but a version of yourself forged in fire. A man who no longer seeks validation from those who play with his time and emotions. A man who understands that if she can hurt you and still sleep soundly, then she was never worthy of your vulnerability to begin with. Pain isn't punishment. It's the doorway to power. It pushes you to see who was never real. It clears the path for discipline, clarity, elevation. You don't wake up at 5 a.m. and hit the gym in rage. You do it in reverence for the man you're becoming. You don't cut off access to her because you hate her. You do it because you've outgrown the desire to beg for affection. Pain teaches you that your peace is not up for negotiation. It teaches you that the version of love you had in your head was only real for you. And the moment you understand that, you stop clinging to what hurt you and start building what heals you. The truth is, no one is coming to save you. The text you're hoping for won't fix your confidence. The apology won't erase the nights you sat wondering if you were enough. The closure won't restore what was never mutual. But every ounce of that pain can be redirected into muscle, into skill, into ambition, into vision. You start seeing life differently. You stop getting distracted by empty attention. You stop falling for pretty faces and start looking for aligned souls. You stop explaining your worth and start embodying it. Pain made you that man. And while she laughs with someone new, unaware of what she lost, you rise. Not to make her regret, but because you finally learned what real love looks like. It starts with you. You are not the man she broke. You are the man who was rebuilt, stronger, wiser, untouchable. And if you keep walking this path, if you keep showing up for yourself, you'll look back one day and realize that the pain you thought would destroy you is what saved your life. Number 5. Your growth is her regret. She laughed when you cried. She ignored you when you pleaded. She rolled her eyes when you gave her your vulnerability as a gift. But what she never saw coming, what she underestimated more than anything, was your ability to grow into a man who would never let her near him again. And that realization doesn't hit when you're still hurting. It doesn't hit when you're trying to prove your worth. It hits when you stop looking back, when you start shining in spaces she never imagined you'd reach, when she realizes she had front row access to a man becoming rare, and she squandered it trying to look impressive to the world, while destroying the one man who would have stayed by her side when everyone else disappeared. And that's when regret starts eating at her, not because she loves you now, but because the version of you she discarded is no longer available, and in her mind you were supposed to stay small, to stay stuck, to stay broken. You were supposed to keep circling the same block, hoping she'd one day pick you over the men she was entertaining while telling you she wasn't ready. But instead you chose something more powerful than revenge. You chose purpose, and that kind of shift terrifies her, because now every new man she meets gets compared to the you she used to know. Not the man who begged, but the man who became, the man who decided that her absence was the catalyst for his excellence, the man who took betrayal and forged discipline, who took heartbreak and built a physique, who took the rejection and built a brand, who found his worth not in someone choosing him, but in becoming someone impossible to ignore. And the irony is this: she didn't want to grow with you, and now she watches you grow without her, and it haunts her, not because she misses you, but because she knows the man you are today would never look twice at the girl she was when she had you. And this is the tragedy of short-sighted attraction. She was too blind to see past her need for attention, too arrogant to believe she could ever lose you. And now, when your name comes up, her heart skips not with joy but with discomfort, because people mention you now with respect, with admiration, with impact, and she pretends to be unbothered. But you've become the story she can't stop replaying. The man she thought she could replace with someone more exciting, only to realize that none of them had the depth, the vision, the loyalty you carried so freely. And when she finally reaches out, because they always do, it won't be with sincerity, It will be with regret, with the realization that she once had something timeless, and she treated it like it was temporary, and by the time she figures it out, you'll be too far ahead. Not because you moved on to spite her, but because you built a life where her opinion no longer fits. And that's the final chapter she never saw coming. She lost access, not just to a man, but to a world she'll never enter again. Number 6. Don't explain. Let her wonder. She doesn't deserve your monologue. She doesn't deserve the breakdown of your emotions. She doesn't deserve to sit on the throne of your closure, because the moment she made the choice to treat your heart like an afterthought, she also forfeited the right to understand how deeply she damaged it. And yet, as a good man, your first instinct is to explain, because you want her to see, you want her to realize, you want her to finally acknowledge the weight of what she did. But what you fail to understand is that the more you explain, the more power you give her to minimize it, to twist it, to treat it like another conversation she can win. And she will not sit across from you with a heart open to truth. She will sit there with rehearsed deflections, with half smirks, and "That's not what I meant" gaslighting. And when you walk away still broken, it won't be because she didn't hear you. It'll be because you gave her the opportunity to disrespect your pain all over again. And that is why you must leave her with questions, not answers. Because a man who doesn't explain becomes a riddle she can't solve, a lesson she wasn't ready to learn, and that discomfort, that not knowing, is the only thing that lingers long enough to matter, because closure is not what she needs. Reflection is, and she won't reflect if you keep giving her your clarity on a silver platter. She'll reflect when your absence becomes a constant reminder that she messed up something she can never repair. And you don't do this to be cold. You do it because your soul deserves rest. It deserves peace from constant justification, and the man who stops explaining is not avoiding responsibility. He's choosing his peace over her permission. He's choosing to protect his energy from being poured into someone who made sport of misunderstanding him. And she'll wonder, did you stop loving her? Did you meet someone else? Did you finally realize your worth? And every one of those questions will echo louder than any explanation you could have offered. Because when a man walks away with his dignity, he doesn't leave behind answers. He leaves behind a void that no new guy can fill, a void that no late-night thought can escape, a void she'll carry long after her pride dies down. And by the time she admits it to herself, you'll be living a life so rich in purpose, so filled with quiet strength, that her opinion will hold less weight than dust on your shoulder, and she'll scroll through memories, look at old messages, replay your voice in her head, wondering how you could just leave without telling her what changed. But the truth is, you told her everything when you stopped trying to be understood, because that's the moment she realized she lost a man who would never beg for clarity again. Number 7. No contact isn't a game. It's closure. She expected you to chase her forever, to check in even after the disrespect, to sit in her digital waiting room while she entertained other men and kept you on hold, to orbit around her mood swings and contradictions like a man with no direction of his own. And what terrifies her most is not your anger, not your confrontation, but your clean and complete detachment, the type of no contact that doesn't come with drama, doesn't seek attention, doesn't wait for her reaction. It just disappears like a chapter that's been closed with finality and self-respect. And that absence hits differently when it's not a tactic but a truth. Because the man who used to care enough to argue now cares too much about himself to repeat the cycle, and that shift, that reallocation of energy, that withdrawal from everything that used to emotionally drain you, it creates a space where you stop trying to prove your worth and start honoring it. And she notices, not because you've said anything, but because you've stopped saying everything. She reaches out, she drops breadcrumbs, she posts stories tailored to provoke you, hoping to trigger the emotional reflex she once controlled. But when nothing happens, When the text goes unanswered, when the bait is ignored, she begins to unravel. Not because she's realized her love for you, but because she no longer has access to the man who once gave her everything. And this is the part most men don't understand. No contact isn't a move on the chessboard. It's the decision to leave the game entirely. It's where you decide to stop bleeding for someone who treats your soul like it's optional. And you don't do it for her to come back. You do it because your peace is more important than her patterns. Because every message you don't send is a vote for your future. Every urge you resist is a brick in the foundation of the man you're becoming. And the more you invest in that man, the less tolerance you have for anything that resembles who broke you. So you let her think what she wants. Let her spin stories in her head. Let her play the victim to people who don't know the truth. Because you're not trying to rewrite the past. You're building something new. And the silence she used to use to punish you is now the distance you've chosen to heal. And the longer you stay quiet, the louder her regret grows. Because she never thought you'd become a man who could walk away and never look back. And the deeper truth is this. No contact is not about being unreachable. It's about becoming unshakable. It's where you choose to live your life in such a way that no memory of her is worth revisiting, where her name becomes irrelevant to your growth, where you understand that closure was never a conversation. It was the day you stopped needing one. Number 8. The man who walks away wins. He doesn't win by getting her back. He doesn't win by posting quotes online. He doesn't win by seeking revenge. He wins by walking away without flinching, by reclaiming his life without looking for applause, by building something so powerful that she becomes a chapter so far behind, it's almost unrecognizable. And that win doesn't come easy. It comes after sleepless nights, after replaying every moment, after realizing that the woman you loved so deeply was never loving you back in the same way. It comes after the pain of watching her smile at another man while you're still bleeding from the wounds she left open. But when that pain stops being a prison and starts becoming your power, that's when you start to win. When you wake up one morning and realize her name no longer controls your emotions. When you stop hoping for a text that explains her betrayal. When you look in the mirror and see a man who doesn't need to be chosen because he's already chosen himself. And that moment, that internal shift, is the turning point. Because the man who walks away isn't weak. He's the one who had the courage to leave when staying would have cost him his dignity. He's the one who realized that no woman, no matter how beautiful or familiar, is worth sacrificing his values, his future, or his sanity. And the man who walks away is rare because most men stay, most men wait. Most men try to fix what was never mutual to begin with. But you didn't. You chose growth over comfort, truth over illusion, clarity over fantasy. And that decision is what sets you apart. Because now you're not chasing women who don't respect you. You're attracting people who admire your strength, who are drawn to your self-discipline, who feel the weight of your presence without needing you to beg for attention. And the irony is, the moment you become that man, the same woman who discarded you will feel the shift. She'll feel the loss. Not because you're gone, but because she knows you're never coming back. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And that realization will sit with her longer than your presence ever did, because she threw away something she didn't understand, and now she has to watch it evolve without her. And you don't need to say a word. You don't need to prove anything, because your success, your peace, your growth will say everything she refused to hear when you were at your lowest. So walk away not to hurt her, but to heal you. Walk away because the man who chooses himself, who stops explaining, who outgrows the need to be validated, he wins. Not in the eyes of the world, but in the deep, deep truth that he no longer needs her to feel whole. If this spoke to something deep in you, if you felt every word like it was describing your past, your pain, your truth, then stop wasting your energy on people who never saw your worth. Channel it into something that will never betray you, your evolution. And if you're finally ready to stop bleeding for love that was never real and start building the power and clarity to never fall into this again, the Stoic relationship blueprint for men is waiting for you. It's raw, it's real, it's life-changing, and it will wake you up in a way no one else will. This is the guide that shows you how to lead, how to let go, how to rebuild your strength and rewire your life from the inside out. And it's linked in the comments right now. Don't wait. This ebook will not stay public forever, and every second you delay is a second wasted in the cycle she wanted you stuck in. Comment the Stoic Blueprint below if you're done being a memory and ready to become a legacy. Like the video. Subscribe to this channel if you believe men deserve the truth, and help us save thousands more from years of confusion, manipulation, and regret.